Okay, we're live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is It's Casual, the talk show you've all been waiting for. Renee, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Rory?
I'm wunderbar, as they say in Germany. And now we're going to let Jonathan bring us in with a little festive music.
Take it away.
Will do.
All right, settle down there, settle down. We have a really big show for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Mr. Lars Nagel coming up in just a minute.
Nagel!
Yes.
One of our favorite people, and we also have Mr. Phillip Wilburn is going to come on later on in the show. He's an incredible impressionist, voice actor, talent. I met him just a few weeks ago on Guest House.
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Get it right.
Damn app. Anyway, Clubhouse. That's what it is. Guest house is the thing that Bob's got up in Georgia.
Yeah, Bob Ross has a guest house, but we have a clubhouse. It's very
Bob
different.
Ross got a guest house.
Bob Ross has a guest house.
And Phil's been on the Jimmy Kimmel show. He's done a lot of voiceover work. I'm wanting to talk to him about that because a lot of people are actually looking to get into that now that we're trapped in our homes. So
do you guys do like
really excited about
dueling
the show.
impressions? Do you guys do like dueling impressions?
We're going to be doing some dueling impressions. We've already mapped out some stuff that we might do. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. He likes to do cartoons like I do. He also likes to do Muppets like I do. So we're definitely going to do some dueling cartoons, I think, and dueling Muppets and some other stuff too. Maybe he's got great political impressions. He's got, awesome. I mean, he's been working on it for a while now. His Biden is like dead on the money. I mean, it's scary how close it is. He's got a wonderful Trump. So we're going to hear a little bit of that in a little bit. So without further ado, let's get Lars Nagel on up here.
Nagel!
Yes,
Nagel! Yes, there he is, the man of the hour. One of.
This is Lars Nagel week.
Yes, my house. Like Shark Week.
Yes, because Lars is going to be on this show.
On this show, we're going to have you on One Hit Wonderful.
And he's got one in the middle as well with Uni
tomorrow.
Watch.
So this is quite a week for you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we? It's a pleasure being here, as always.
Are you feeling like the king?
Pardon me?
Are you feeling like the king, baby?
Oh, I don't know if anyone can feel like the king, man, but you know what I mean.
You got a lot of things lined up this week, baby.
Lars, I have to tell you something that I'm probably not supposed to tell you, but Dennis Tardan told me he has a crush on you. He said you're very, very good looking.
Are you kidding me?
He has like he always talks about how handsome you are, and then he's like, yeah, I think I have a crush.
Renee, Lars is never gonna talk to us again after that.
Dennis is never gonna talk to me again. Let's just hope Dennis is not watching.
They did have a wonderful interview a couple of weeks ago.
It's a beautiful thing. I love the Big D.
The Big D, yes, we all love.
We actually talked on the phone for 2 hours the other day, over 2 hours the other day. It was a wonderful call. I wouldn't mind doing that every week. I mean, it was wonderful. And you mentioned that you really enjoyed the Dennis Tardan interview.
I did very much so. You got to be. I
have big shoes to fill.
He's done his homework. He does his homework, and he's excellent. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
And he goes so in depth on every minute detail of you. Like, where were you on such a date when you were 16 or something like that? That's
And
what
how did testosterone affect you?
Hoping
I'm
not.
reminded of when James Lipton was talking to Deborah Winger. You know what I mean?
Hoping not to repeat that interview. I am going to ask you about where it all began. Was it in high
the
school?
formative years, John.
The
go ahead.
formative years, yes.
It was in high school?
Pardon me, say it again. I lost
It was in
you.
high school?
The music, when the music stuff started?
Yeah.
No, I mean, looking back, I would have, it feels like it almost was, but not even close. You know, I got into music very young. I was probably 5, 6 years old when I got really into it, but I didn't start playing in my first band. We didn't start working until 1992. So I was 22 or 3. I had no high school bands whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
interesting.
That's like
Yeah.
so different. Yeah.
So 92, that was well after the punk thing had taken off. And who were some of your favorite bands at the time?
The singer that when we started the band Ditch Diggers back in 92 or 3, we were very influenced by a band called San Diego band called Rocket from the Crypt. And they had a song in it. In one of their records, they had a song called Ditch Diggers. We called ourselves the Ditch Diggers, but we liked this, the social distortions, some of the California punk rock, but also some of the New York punk rock, or a lot of the New York punk rock, like the New York Dolls, the Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers. We liked just a number of the New York people, along with the California West Coast people. They were big influences. 70s, 80s type folks, such as I named, that were sort of. And again, I'm saying new. I'm thinking old artists, but they were new at the time, like Rocket from the Crypt. Was kind of a new band by now. They weren't that old. Maybe someone will correct me, by 1992. But we had those types of influences. Then we also had country music influences. We ended up doing what was called, or still is called, cowpunk.
Yeah.
And we
I've
spent
heard
our
this
whole
term.
career sort of explaining what that meant to people. But we were basically a country rock and roll band, but cowpunk. So it's more intense, like bands like Jason and the Scorchers from the 80s, the Hickoids, the Johnnies in Australia, the Sidewinders. A lot of those type of bands were, we liked a band called Southern Culture on the Skids a lot as well.
Yes.
Love
those. Love them.
We saw ourselves like a cross between, it was such a 90s thing to say, like a cross between Social D and maybe Southern Culture on the Skids. So we had that goofy side to us, but there was also a real edge to the music, so it took off really quick. We started playing shows and I couldn't even tune my guitar. I didn't even know how. And but one thing we could do was that it was kind of back against the walls. We could write. Chris and I, the singer, we just kept writing. Learned a new chord. Let's write a song around that chord type thing, right? Yeah. And it did well for us. So we kind of had to catch up as we started to tour and do shows. And once you make your first record, anytime you go in with a band to do that, it's going to up your game immediately.
So the songwriting came early.
Oh yeah, it came before anything else.
Oh, okay.
Without a doubt. Like I said, Rory, it probably came out of necessity because I couldn't do much else. But I knew that, we knew that we wanted to add something to the musical spectrum. If we wanted to be on magazine covers, if we wanted to be coming out as a real band out of the Atlanta music scene, we knew we had to write our own music. At least back in those days when you couldn't just jump into a tribute band like they have these days and so forth. So most people we dug, they wrote the material and we were going to do the same. So that was I don't even think we had a conversation about it. We just did it.
Now, you were a guitar for hire. You actually played for several different groups, didn't you?
Well, never for hire. I was never that versatile of a player, but I was in 3 different bands.
Okay.
You know, I did the Ditch Diggers 7 years in the 90s. Then I was in a punk rock band called Motor 76 after that. And then I did my last 8 years between 2010 to 2018 in the Atlanta hard rock band called the El Caminos.
The El Caminos.
So I wouldn't say for hire. I was, you know, I kind of, you know, I can play what I can play and I can write what I can write. And it's effective as long as I'm in the right vehicle. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know musicians.
Yeah, when we talked on the phone earlier this week, we talked about people who are guitars for hire going to different bands and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of equated that with you as well. So I'm sorry about that.
No, well, I mean,
but you were in 3 different groups.
No, I mean, some guys and girls can. I mean, like the guy who's recording my solo record right now, Danny Groover. He, I don't know. I mean, he's played with anyone from Tony Braxton to rock and roll people. He's recorded a lot of session. He's done session work for so many years, and you know, he's that just extraordinary type Nashville session guitar player. And if I may add, I'm not even sure if he's a Grammy award-winning guitarist or he is a Grammy-nominated guitar player. It's just that world is just complete. That's a completely different world of absolute brilliance. How those guys and girls operate, I couldn't even begin to understand it. So that was never my world. I've had the pleasure of working with them in my solo stuff. In the band stuff, we pretty much did our own stuff, and we were good at what we were doing. We were good at our own game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we didn't have anyone for hire. No.
Did you ever have a moment where you met someone in the business and you were just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. This is so cool. Have you ever had one of those moments? We
have many of those. And I think we had, if I go back to the 90s type stuff, it's funny because when you're young, and again, we were just a college touring band. You know, we had hits. And we charted on the college stations, and we occasionally got little mainstream, but we were just we didn't even sniff at anything that was remotely. We didn't even get a sniff at anything that was remotely over the top. So, but in our sort of, but nonetheless, we were kind of still in the game, if that makes sense. So, one of the coolest moments was probably we were playing. I've said the story a number of times, but we were playing in Florida at a festival, and we were supposed to play on the smaller stage. It's kind of like a Midtown Music, if anybody remembers that thing. But it was in Florida, and we got bumped up to the A stage, to the big stage, and we went on before Emmylou Harris and it was Little Richard.
Oh my God.
And I remember, so the moment, anyways, this is 1990, I don't know, 7 or 8, and I had been sick the week before when we were traveling. I had the flu or something, so I had some... I don't know. I was walking, and we generally didn't play those big stages. And then, you know, when you go back to your amp in a club, you take 3 steps. but on these ginormous stages, you're just walking to get your amp. So I was walking back to get a drink, right? And there, you know, as we started the band started the next tune, Little Richard, King of Rock and Roll, right, was standing behind my amp, smoking a joint and tapping his feet. Now. Had I had an iPhone on me, like in today's world, I would have ruined that moment.
Yes.
But
yeah,
instead,
totally.
I just walked back. I had my guitar obviously on me. I walked back to my amp, you know, and I was just looking right at it, going, Jesus, that's Little Richard on our stage. And, but the funny thing is when you're 20, so there were a number of those types of cool moments. But when you're 20, or whatever we were, 26, 7, 8. You don't really consider it so much because you just move on to the next show or the next rehearsal, and you don't. That's something when you ask me now, when I think about it, that was really cool. You know what I mean? You appreciate those moments far later. You know. So, but we've been fortunate. We've had a number of those. Whether it's been cool engineers like the great Rodney Mills, out of the, you know, the famed Southern producer, did all the Skinner 38 special type stuff, Atlanta Rhythm Section. We got to work with him, and so a lot of that stuff was just kind of flew by us, and we were maybe at the right place at the right time, you know. So yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, can you sing us a couple of songs?
I'm going to try.
Hear you play.
I'm going to try. You want to introduce it? This is you want to start right now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play some. Or
so
you play some.
I'm going to do Gotta Move after, a little later in the next song or something. But I'm going to start with a song that going to open my third solo effort. And this is a little something that I call Years Gone By. It goes like this. Old man, he's getting old. Seen it all, don't want to be told. Thinking about the road and what went wrong. Thinking about writing a song. I'll make a fast one, I'll make him dance. I'll make him laugh, make him take a chance. I'll sing about aliens, yeah, that'd be nice. I'll sing about anything, and here's my advice. Stop your living for tomorrow, and your wishes for yesterday. They will only bring you sorrow, and can help but make you pay for them years gone by. Some people want to be my best friend. Some people never want to see me again. Ups and downs on the same old road. I should have been an actor, I can do as I'm told. I'm drinking whiskey, eating rice and beans. I'm getting old in this burned out scene. See you 57 years go by. I'll see you, honey, in my dreams tonight. Stop your living for tomorrow, and your wishes for yesterday now. They will only bring you sorrow, and can help but make you pay for the tears gone by. Yeah, now. Can we ever leave them aches behind? It's so hard to see you cry. We're all living here on borrowed time. Why don't you leave a smile behind? Stop your living for tomorrow, and your wishes for yesterday. They will only bring you sorrow, and can help but make you pay for them years gone by. Yeah, now. Years gone by. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh.
Ah, that's great. And that's going to be on your new album.
It's going to be the opening track of my new record, man, coming out sometime this year once we start working in the studio again. Yeah, man.
Fantastic, fantastic. What
Thank
else
you,
have you
Rory.
got for us?
What else? You want to hear another tune?
Oh, yeah.
I got 29 more kids. Just stay with me.
We're going to get through all 29 of them, I promise.
You're going to give me the Muppet hook. This
2
next
minutes
song
to
is
showtime, Mr. Lars. Mr. Nagel.
So, anyways, this is a song for you folks out there that Mr. Man of the Hour here on the leader of the It's Casual, Mr. Rory Penland, requested for me to play. It's a song that I wrote about last year, so maybe a year or so ago. So we recorded it already. We've done some good stuff with it. We got some percussion on it. Anyways, Rory, you dig it, and I'm pleased. And it's a track that I call Gotta Move. You ready, folks?
All right, man.
You can keep the split screen, buddy. That's cool. I like you. Kids shooting up schools, shooting up dope. The world keeps turning, but we're running out of hope. The human spirit's strong, but something feels wrong. I'm feeling you win. You're sure to come along. We gotta move out of here. There's too much lies and fear. Oh yeah. They say that time is money and money is time, but they say a lot of things and no one seems to mind their own business, mind their own lives. Don't you forget, everybody dies. Move, honey, out of here. There's too much lies and fear. We've lost touch, yes we have, with what's real. How to love and how to feel. Still with me?
I like it.
Turning on the news, giving me the blues. Just a bunch of people screaming out their little views. Man makes a call, putting up a wall. Someone said a long time back, a harder is gonna fall. Move, honey, out of here. There's too much lies and fear. We've lost touch with what's real. How to love and how to feel. False hope to those with nothing to eat. Burn their money right out in the street. Promise those with no shoes on their feet. Prey on the weak with every word that you speak. They got nothing. Becoming the night. They got nothing. Don't have any rights. They got nothing. Shoot them on sight. They ain't got shit. Goodbye and good night. Good night. Oh my God, no. Don't make me go now. Don't wanna go now. No, no, no.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Hit
One of my
written
favorites.
all over it.
I love it.
Well, you got me and Phipps, the Wonder Boy, there bobbing our heads, but you got Renee dancing. So
Listen, kids,
Yeah.
I dig that split screen because when you're on your own, you're just staring at yourself, and it's sort of like, okay, you know what I mean? So it's
But
great
then-
watching.
Weird,
guys.
yeah.
But then if Lars, if you had all of us on the screen, wouldn't you not then get worried? Like, oh my God, how are they going to react to this? And you just clam plumb up and not be able to play or sing
Plumb up.
anything.
Did you clam
I
plumb
am
up?
never, ever
I don't
worried
think Lars has ever
about
clammed
this
up.
crew.
Never worried about us. That's good. That's good.
He doesn't give a shit.
he is the
I don't
James
care.
Bond of music.
He is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lars
Very calm and cool.
Nagel. Lars Nagel.
That's something
Yeah,
I
I
want to
don't
tell you
know.
about Lars that nobody knows, and he is a huge James Bond fan. We talked about this the other day.
Oh wow.
He's a Roger Moore fan. We both got started on the movie The Spy Who Loved Me. We both got hooked.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's a great
always
one.
have been. As a kid, Rory and I spoke about it, and I think the first time I saw The Spy Who Loved Me, my dad had gotten a bootleg, like a VHS bootleg, when we just gotten those first VCRs. And we just kind of, you got to squint your eyes. You got to kind of, oh, look at that Lotus. Oh, look at that. You know, so it made us pay attention even more. We must have seen that film 3,000 times. You know, you can't go wrong with Barbara Bach and, you know, come on, you know.
Jaws. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What triggered me was when you said Stromberg. We got into that long conversation when you mentioned Stromberg.
A world beneath the sea. You know, there's nothing like an insane villain.
Again, it's one of those things where you go, wow, that makes practical, total sense. But, you know, in the hands of a madman who wants to destroy the world, there it is, you know.
You know, I mean, you know, all the not the snooty folks, but sort of, you know, people always go to Connery, but I don't know. To me, the Roger Moore films from Live and Let Die, you know, they were just very cozy to me. I mean, I grew up on them. Of course, I love the Connery movies. I mean, Young and Twice.
He had brown hair like us.
I'm going to start wearing a Sean Connery wig soon enough, like he wore in Diamonds Are Forever.
There you go.
That's
not what your mother said, Trebek.
I want to see you in this wig, Lars. I dare you to wear this wig.
Yeah, Lars. When she gets to
here's the thing: if I'm going to get fake hair, let's just say if we're to do that,
fake
I love it.
Here we go.
I wouldn't just gradually add the hair. I would go from this to Greg Allman in 0 to
Perfect.
Perfect. Yes.
Oh, Lars.
No sense in wasting time.
He did. Okay. Do you have one more song for us before we move on to the rest of the show?
You know, with pleasure. If you guys are cool with it, I will
go for it, man. Go for it.
Would love one more.
Then I shall do one. I must once again say how cool it is to be on the it's casual show with Penland and the gang, man.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to have you on our show.
Happy to have you, man.
We've got you booked twice this week, so.
How many of these have you done?
You're one of our favorites.
Yeah.
How many of these have you done so far, folks?
Wow, I did 2 years of It's Casual back in 1989 and 90 in Tampa.
Yeah.
And then Dennis Tardan asked me to do the show for Tardan Media here. And we've done 5 or 6 of these now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're getting there. We're working out the bugs. This one's going smooth, real smooth.
No, this is fantastic. I'm enjoying every second of it. I don't even want to let Lars go. I think I'm just going to tie him up and keep him in my basement. He knows that too.
He is going to stay for the rest of the show, I hope.
All right.
Only if you bring Tardan over, apparently.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, he does have
you
the
never
boy
know.
crush
He
on
sneaks
you,
in on these things sometimes.
Oh dear.
He's gonna kill me.
And he's got a crush on you.
You think?
It's all right. He owes me. It's all right.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, everyone should have a crush or two on somebody. You know what I mean?
And they called it puppy love.
Oh my God.
Nagel love. It's called Nagel love.
Nagel love.
Nagel love.
There you go. There you go. Y'all are a sick bunch, I swear.
This will be a nice segue into my next tune.
All right.
It really isn't a nice segue. I just felt it appropriate, you know, saying it. But
okay.
This is another new tune that's going to be on my new record. Like a broken record saying it. It's a little something that I called, and feel free to keep the split screen. You guys can just sway along in 3/4 time. Or actually, Kim Ware, being a very accomplished drummer, she told me that this may not.
I need to drink some.
Huh? Okay, kids, here we go. Now that you've left me. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. I got the call last Sunday. It was time to come home. Time to say goodbye. Time to be alone. We talked about the old days. We talked about the new. Looking at a lifetime and how you saw it through. Now that you left me, my childhood is gone. You can no longer right all of my wrongs. I gotta hold on to all of your words. I promise they would always be heard. Days were getting shorter and mine are getting cold. You were getting tired of being you. You never spoke of dying, I never saw you crying. Just empty that old closet, that's what you said to do. Now that you've left me, my childhood is gone. You can no longer right all of my wrongs. I gotta hold on to all of your words. I promise they would always be heard. Yes, I did. Can't stop my tears tonight. I gotta let them roll. Sitting on the edge of time. Yes, I am hanging on to my soul. You gotta let them roll, boy. Da 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 da. The angels came and you were gone, and I was finally grown. I was sitting by your side, still you had to die alone. There's no good way around love, and no way past the truth. With your last breath on my mind, I wrote this one for you. Now that you left me, my childhood is gone. You can no longer right all of my wrongs. I gotta hold on to all of your words. I promised they would always be heard. Yes, I did.
All right. Yeah.
Wow, so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Very
guys.
good. Oh man, always good to hear you play.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rory. It's good to be here. It's good to be seen.
And
We love you, Lars.
we definitely appreciate what you do. We love the concerts with the BLT where you're showing your cats and and Elvis and you've got your own audience. That's always a lot of fun.
The little furry ones definitely spice things up. I know where they're sleeping now. They're getting ready for. They're not used to the early show. They're late nighters. You know, they come on.
They're late night cats.
Okay.
They're late night cats, man.
Oh.
Well, again, we thank you for coming. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the show. We're going to bring Phillip Wilburn up in just a minute. Is there anything that you would like to tell us that's coming up in the near future? Any shows or anything that you want to plug while you're on?
I don't want to override my time, but you just cut me off any moment. I've got no problems talking or playing and just keep going. But we got the BLT show tomorrow night. I'm playing 8 o'clock, and Tony Corallo's playing at 8:30, and Tom T. Chesh from West End Motel is playing at 9 o'clock, and that's when I came out of my house. And then I'm coming back, and I'm playing another show tomorrow night, The Late Show. I feel like I'm in Vegas. I'm going to go on 11 o'clock at night, and I'm the last performer to go on for the UniWatch show, which is put on by Jason Von Steen, and I'm playing for the American Cancer Fund. And I'm really stoked about those shows. So, of course, we got Thursday Night One Hit Wonder with Renee and You Awesome People, which I can't wait. Last but not least, Tom and I are doing a acoustic show over at a record store in Atlanta, Georgia called Walk Street Records, one of the best record stores in the state of Georgia. And it's going to be we're going to be playing there for Record Store Day, and we don't know the time yet, but maybe between 2 and 4 when people got their shopping done. But we'll be in there in the back room with all the reggae records, man, kicking out our tunes. So thank you for letting me. And yes, if anybody's looking for my music that haven't seen me before, just Google Lars Nagel, and music, and you'll get to you can get me on SoundCloud, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere, Spotify, you name it, you'll find it. So thank you.
And what's the date on the record gig?
The record store show day is going to be, I believe, June 12th, and we'll play between 2 and 4. The store opens at 10, and everybody comes in and wants their piece of the action, And so once it settles down, then we're gonna somewhere thereabout we're gonna be playing. So yeah, we're stoked, man.
That sounds great. Okay, without further ado,
Stay here, Lars.
Yeah, stick around, please.
Yeah,
this next guy does incredible voices. He does voiceover work in Hollywood. He's been on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. I'm sure he can tell us all about some other stuff that he's done that's just been wonderful. He's had a wonderful career so far, and I just see nothing but great things happening for him in the near future. His name is Phillip Wilburn. Let's bring him up.
Hey, there I am.
There he is.
And there he is. Wow, look at that background, will you? All those TV monitors. Looks so professional. You're in the studio right now.
I'm just keeping it casual. That's what I'm doing. It's the theme of the show.
No, you're
I
not.
thought I would make sure and keep it casual. I've got my giant bottle of Texas water here ready to go in case we need it.
I just got the Walmart brand. I'm sorry. Nothing special here.
I have
It's
it
a big
imported
bottle.
from the States, so it's really got some nice dirt in it. It's really good. It's really good. Well, thanks for having me on the show,
because
guys.
Florida
And
water
Lars,
has dirt in it.
Lars, that was amazing. I loved your music. It was fantastic. I think we should just get rid of me and do 25 more songs of Lars's.
No. Blessings, man. Listen, man. Thank you so much. We need some humor after my bummer tunes.
Donald Trump was here. He would watch it. He would say, "What a great talent that guy is. He's so tremendous. We like him a lot. He's so great. He's so great." A lot of people play guitar, but they can't sing. And this guy can play guitar and sing. What a great talent. What an unbelievable thing. I rule a country and at the same time be a stable genius. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. I got to be honest.
One of the best in the business. And, Mike Wilson was here a couple of weeks ago.
I heard that.
And you guys do Impersonation Nation on Clubhouse.
I love that. I love that. I'm such a fan. I go in there and I love you guys.
When we go other places,
He called it guest house.
Perform on Clubhouse every week. I do a show on Tuesday weekly called Impression Idol that Rory did a great job on a few weeks ago. It's kind of a fun thing for people who've never done impressions to kind of do a little game. And then Impersonation Nation is kind of a celebration of impressions, where a lot of great impressionists get together and we basically talk about impressions and do impressions and stuff like that. And Rory, you're one of the best. You do a lot of great impressions, and we like having you in the room. So
it's so much fun to just bandy impressions about with other guys that do it, and on top of that, you let anybody that comes into the room do an impression if they want to. Which
right,
I think is really cool. Everybody gets a chance to do an impression.
We like to, it's a celebration. It's a good room to be able to just play in. A lot of people don't get the opportunities that I grew up in East Texas, and when I was a little kid, I loved doing impressions. But when your mom is a third grade teacher and your dad is an appliance repair technician and an owner of an appliance repair business, you don't have a lot of good ties to Hollywood. So and back in those days, you didn't have YouTube and other things to use. And so yeah, it's a great little outlet to get people to give opportunities for people to perform. I've always been a big proponent of, giving back and letting people perform as much as they can or want. So
does Biden feel that, it's good to give back?
Joe Biden, man, we love Joe Biden. Joe does great, man. He's doing great. We're going to put 100 million arms and shots very soon. Very soon. We're working hard to do stuff. Did you see me in the truck the other day? I pulled up in the truck and I just took off. It was fun. People love that. People love that. That's how my administration's coming. We kind of drive up slow, and then we're going to floor it and take off, and people are not going to know what hits it, but they're going to like it in the end. Trust me.
I just want to say right now, I'm glad that you guys came along because it took some of the pressure off of me.
Man, I remember you, George. Man, you were in the office before we were. Me and Barack, we came in there. Of course, you didn't get your deposit back, but that's okay. That's okay. We liked it anyway. I gotta be honest. I never liked Judge. He's not nice to me. It was never nice to me. People know this.
And I was in office before all of you. Me and my wife Hillary and Monica. We were all there before you.
Bill, Hillary is not nice. We know that. Hillary's a nasty woman, and it's unbelievable. And that's kind of, even though she was nasty to me, that's kind of women you enjoy, really and truly. We know that. We know that very well. I like Bill Clinton. I like Bill Clinton because Bill Clinton could say anything in the world and make it sound like a speech. And I always love that about Bill Clinton because Bill Clinton could go, my folks, I got to tell you, NyQuil is a nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever. So you can read medicine.
He's right.
I love that.
He's right. I was actually at college.
Anything. You can open a phone book. He can say whatever in the world he wants.
I was at a junior college here in Florida, in Central Florida. A tornado came through and took out like a whole trailer park. And he flew in on the helicopter, the Air Force One helicopter. And when he stepped off that helicopter, all the girls in the school were like, it was like a rock star. He stepped off there in khakis and a brown leather jacket, and they just went berserk. There's the charisma. There was just something there that just went crazy over him.
I saw Bill Clinton in Fort Worth one time. He and Hillary came on a campaign stop, and I was so glad to get to see him because it is an amazing charisma. The only time that I've ever seen anything like that, and this is honest to God true, I went to the premiere of The Last Lion King. And I was in the Dolby Theater, and I was way up in the top. And a friend of mine is an actress who invited me, and we were sitting way up in the top. And they brought people from the cast out, and the last person they brought out was Beyonce, and it was like electricity went off in the room. And I like Beyonce, but I'm not like the biggest fan of Beyonce. But it was like doing some kind of drug because it was like, for 5 minutes, I was on Beyonce, and so and the world stopped. It was like, look, it's Beyonce. It was amazing. It was amazing. There was just sparkles in the air and gold, and it was just amazing. But
a friend of mine,
something else. But I try to get like you when we do impressions, we all figure. I always try to do my own version of the impression because I love SNL, but I never want to take I would never take lines that Alec Baldwin did or Daryl Hammond or anybody like that because I respect them too much. So I try to do it. And with George W. Bush in particular, I gleaned everything I got from my George W. Bush impression from actually interacting with George Bush. And at that point, I wasn't really supporting George W. And so anybody I'd ever shaken hands with lost the election. So I called a friend of mine and said, I'm about to help the election along. And so I hung up the phone and I walked into the studio where George W. Bush was standing there. And I said, Governor Bush? He said, yeah, buddy. And I said, I just came here to shake your hand. And so I shook his hand and he went, thanks, buddy. I'm glad you did. Hit me on the back. And it was all that stuff. It was so weird. And then there was a weather guy that I worked for. My day job has always been working for weather guys. And so the weather guy I worked for was an older gentleman, but he looked really young and he didn't want anybody to know how old he was. So George W. looked at him. He said, Troy, I remember you working over at KTRK in Houston. That's a long time ago. How old a guy are you? And the guy thought for a minute. He went, well, Governor Bush, I'm 65 years old. And he's like, really? And then he looks and he goes, Laura, did you know that Troy Duncan is 65 years old? And it was absolutely everything that I learned about George W. Bush. Doing that impression was in that moment of being 4 feet away from him and just seeing him just going all this stuff and just like, I'm owning the room. I may not be doing good, but I'm owning the room. So it was really funny. Really funny. But Biden also has been the hardest one to nail down. Biden has been the hardest presidential character to nail down. I've done Trump for years because I really liked Donald Trump on The Apprentice when The Apprentice was on. Yeah. I loved watching Celebrity Apprentice all the time, but I wasn't, when he ran for president, I thought, oh, this will be funny as comedy, and then it happened. So that didn't work out well. But I'd always done it. But I had a line in an SNL reel I did once where I was like, I was doing the candidates of all the Republican candidates, and it was called Republican Apprentice. And so there was a line in it that said, if there was any chance of winning, I would be running. And I thought that was a funny joke at the time, but who knew later on? Who knew? We'd all cry. But no, but anyway. But yeah, that's how all my presidential stuff came along.
Now, you auditioned for SNL before.
I did. I've auditioned a few times before.
Yeah.
It's an interesting process. There was a lady that just recently passed named Ann Beach, who was one of the original writers for SNL, and one of my dear friends. She actually met me, saw me do a show, and was like, "We need to get you to Lauren." So she wrote a letter to Lauren, and within a week, I was flown to New York to audition for SNL, and it was an interesting experience. It was exactly if the Will Ferrell best of tape had to come out where you see his audition, I would have freaked out because you literally stand on home base at SNL. You audition with all of the people you recognize through life, Lauren, Tina Fey, Steve Higgins, Paula Pell, and just a level of people sitting like this behind the table watching you. And I literally, there are very few things I remember like Memorex, but I remember my interaction with Lorne Michaels like it's etched in stone, because Lauren comes out of the darkness to me on the tee at home base, and I actually had to go first. And he was like, "Hi, Phillip, thanks for coming back. I'm Lauren. Do you have everything you need?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do an extra Bush impression." "That's great. Just have fun out there, okay?" And then he walks back over, and he really set me at ease. And then he said, "Is Phillip going to say his name, or is someone going to say it for him? We like to make this as much like a police lineup as we can." So it was really funny. It was really funny. But Daryl Hammond was on the show at the time. And so, the timing wasn't right because we were very similar. And what was funny is I met Daryl a few years down the road, and Daryl was like, I told him the story about it, and he said, "That's funny. The first time I auditioned for the show, they said to me, 'We love Phillip. We think he's great. We have Daryl. He's like Daryl. We have Daryl.'" And so I told Daryl that story, and he said, "That's so funny," because the first time he went audition for the show, he said, "We love Daryl. We think Daryl's great. He's like Phil. We have Phil." So it was just like, it was kind of like an interesting thing. But yeah, a lot of those shows, I've been out for a lot of those shows. And most of the stuff I've done are for Conan and Kimmel and Corden. I do a lot of stuff for them on occasion, which is fun and interesting because you never know what it's going to be,
Corden goes out there. He does.
Yeah. Well, like with Kimmel's the show I work for the most. And it's really interesting because, I'll be sitting at home and I'll get a phone call or a text, and they'll say, "Can you do this voice? And can you do it now?" And so it's like, yes. And so I've done a lot of voices really instantly. Like even one I did in a parking lot at work. They were like, "Can you do Animal from the Muppets?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll send you an audition in." And I just recorded it on my phone and sent it in. And they ended up using what I did on my phone in my car on national TV. So who knows? Who knows? You spend all the time working on the auditions that you send in, but the ones you do in your car, you book.
Apple.
So
It can work for you.
I know, no doubt, no doubt.
You like to do a lot of high-pitched characters, cartoons,
I
like
did.
me,
As a matter
and
of fact, I brought
Muppets.
this out for you. This is the first cartoon I ever did. This is Dragon Ball Z's Android 19. This is,
I've heard you tell this story.
This is actually the character that I did for Dragon Ball Z, and they wanted a maniacal, crazy voice for it, and his voice is kind of, "You are not the human we seek. I will identify you. I will steal all your energy." And that's fine for 4 or 5 lines, but when you have to do 6 episodes of that and fight and do all that stuff, it's a little bit crazy. But the funny thing was, the character was beating up and killed some major characters in Dragon Ball Z world, and a character named Vegeta ended up pulling his arms off and killing him and stuff like that. And it was one of the most hated characters in all Dragon Ball Z history. So they would always hide him in the video game so people could beat the hell out of him. So I would usually go in and do a bunch of like,
Where is he? Where is he?
stuff like that, and do a few of those kind of things and get recorded up, and so people could beat me to death. But they finally stopped. They record all that in Texas, and they finally stopped wanting to fly me to Texas to get that. They said, we'll get somebody else to do a high-pitched voice. So I think they even changed the voice altogether now. But the original Fanimation dubs were all done by me, and they were that weird voice. So, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Lars actually wrote a song about Sesame Street.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
What is your favorite character to do from the Muppets, would you say?
Well, I always lean toward Kermit the Frog. A few years ago, I was up for the voice of Kermit the Frog. They have several voices, like a DVD and a Prime and a movie, and so I was up for one of the weird ones, and I was always felt really weird about doing that. But I do a lot of, like you do, I do a lot of the, Gonzo and Waldorf and Statler and Waldorf. I love doing all those. But Kermit's probably the one that I usually fall into. Hey, Fuzzy.
That's usually the one I fall into most, though. Is Kermit the Frog. Probably the most like me in general, because I try to throw together shows and comedy. So yeah, that's probably who I am most like.
Very cool. And you're a Bugs Bunny fan. You're a Looney Tunes fan.
I am very much so. I know you do. You do many more of the Looney Tunes than I do. I do your fair amount.
Really, Doc?
Yes. I do. Sometimes I'll do Foghorn Leghorn. She's like the road between Dallas and Fort Worth. No curves. I like that one. And my biscuits are burning. Ouch! That kind of stuff. And you can't do Yosemite Sam without doing this. But I also have Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, that's an actual Yosemite Sam sound.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hate that rabbit. Yeah.
Oh, where do I get that wabbit?
What you want with a rabbit? Can't you see that I'm much sweeter? I'm your little senorita. You are my type of guy. Let me straighten your tie, and I shall dance for you.
Kill the wabbit.
That is a ridiculous bar trick you can always do. You do all that together.
I was talking to comedian Eddie Brill last night in a room, and we went through. Mel Blanc liked to do impersonations as well of actors of the time. And there's a cartoon where you know it very well because it's the one where they do "What's Up, Doc." It's called "What's Up, Doc." But they have the bench with the 4 guys: Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor, Jack Benny, and Bing Crosby.
Oh yeah.
So Blank does does the three of them. He does just Jack Benny just playing bad violin, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, it's that guy Emma Fudd. He's looking for a new partner. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun?
You must have been a beautiful baby.
And then he goes up to Bugs and goes, Bugs Bunny, what are you doing here with these losers? They're never gonna amount to anything.
I always
One of the
love that.
best.
There's a great Looney Tunes cartoon that is Jack Benny as mice.
As a mouse, yes.
As a mouse. And it's all the characters from the show doing stuff. And it's just the greatest. It's just so weird to see. Oh, Rochester, where's my lucky jacket? You know, it's just so weird. I'm wearing it. Not anymore, you're not.
They did an Abbott and Costello mouse one too, and Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton. They like to do the mouse thing.
Exactly. They went through
the same cat.
Exactly. Poor Jackie Gleason. He got ripped off so many times over the years, from mice to the Flintstones to Family Guy.
There you go.
Hey, Fred.
At least Barney was short.
That's my. I love that Fred and Barney are always so ridiculous. I left a voicemail. I like to do. I don't know if you guys do this, but I always like to leave ridiculously elaborate voicemails. And so one day, my buddy, I left a voicemail on his answer machine, and I pulled up the music from Bedrock that would just play under the scenes. And I was like, Bonnie, who's that with you? It's my new friend, Jeff Goldblum Rock. Hey, Fred, good to see you there. Oh, is that a Pianosaurus? Do you mind if I tickle the tunes? You are my favorite person from Jurassic Park Rock. And it's just so stupid. Just so stupid. And
So 5 minutes later, they're still listening to their phone. What the hell?
Exactly. They're like, does he want something? Or is he doing like 4 hours? And then I liked it so much, I dubbed the audio off and I animated it to put it on my YouTube channel because it was so stupid. I was like, this is too good just to waste for my stupid friend.
Jeff Goldblum Rock.
Jeff Goldblum Rock. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
I love it.
Now,
and you're also a Hanna-Barbera fan.
I love Hanna-Barbera. I like, I was brought up in the 70s, so it was like Super Friends and Scooby and Shaggy and like, I can't believe it. And that's the hardest part for me is the laugh. But I loved all those shows and Sid and Marty Krofft. And, I really loved cartoons. And I love, I hope to get to do more cartoon stuff. I've done a lot of voice matching for, different cartoons for funny comedy shows and stuff like that. But the thing I do the most on those shows are all Muppets, though. I was Elmo for Conan. I was, I think I was Grover, Kermit, Ernie, Big Bird, Statler and Waldorf, and Animal. And I think that, I don't know if that's even all of them for Kimmel. I would always get called for that. So,
Now,
but I
Mike Valdez does a great Elmo, so I've never heard you do Elmo because he's always doing Elmo.
Yeah, well, his Elmo's better than mine. But I was in the right place at the right time. My buddy was like, hey, can you do Elmo? I said, yes. And then I got online and tried to learn Elmo. But Elmo's generally like this. So, but it's an interesting one. They did a thing where they were doing, it's not as funny now, but they were doing PSAs for the flu. And it was basically like, run for your lives. We're all going to die. So that was about 10 years ago. And now it's not as funny.
No, we don't want to say that to the kids now.
Yeah, it's a little scary. But
man.
it's funny.
And of course, The Simpsons. There's actually a clubhouse room for people who just do Simpsons impressions.
I heard about this. I didn't know what was going on. So
I went in there the other night and did Grandpa.
Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna be in it?
I went in there the other night and I did Grandpa for about 10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
I just rattled off a whole bunch of weird stuff.
I like pancakes. I always shut up, Dad.
You know, I also one of my favorite characters on The Simpsons is, hi, I'm actor Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films as Lead Paint, Delicious but Deadly, and Let's Discover the Metric System. So stupid. So stupid. But yeah, I love The Simpsons. One thing you would love, Rory, is I saw I was at three. I saw 3 table reads for The Simpsons before, and it was really neat. And the very first one I saw, Dan Castellaneta was not there, but they had a speakerphone in the middle of the table. So you heard Homer, but you never saw him, so it really kept the illusion.
There he was.
And it was kind of amazing. But then I got to meet him later on. But yeah, it was really interesting to see. You know, like I've seen them all do the voices, and it's just insane how fun it is to watch. I have a friend that works at Family Guy. I'd like to do a Family Guy one as well, but I haven't got to do that yet.
Oh yeah, your Family Guy there. Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin. Yeah.
Well, gosh, this has been just as wonderful as I hoped it would be. And can't thank you enough, both of you, for being on the show tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Rory. I really
appreciate it. Is there anything that's coming up that we should look for?
You know what? I'm doing Impression Idol Tuesday nights at 6:30 Pacific on Clubhouse. I'm doing Impersonation Nation 7:30 Pacific Thursday nights on Clubhouse. And if you like Donald Trump, or you hate Donald Trump, or like Joe Biden, or hate Joe Biden, I do both of them on Cameo. So you can look me up, and if you have a dad who loves them, you know, you can hire me to do a custom deal. I do the whole get up, so it's totally done in costume and everything. And so it's like you're getting a real thing from the guy. We do it here in the control room, and it looks very legit.
Nothing but the best. It's the best.
We're making Cameo great again. Just like today, we made It's Casual great again. We really did. We really did. It's great. Thanks for having me.
You both made the show great again. Thank you so much, Lars. Thank you so much, Phillip. You guys have a great night. Renee, thank you so much for everything you do for the show. She's my producer. She's the glue that holds it all together.
Thank you,
Mr. Phipps, my music guy. Thank you for being here and joining us with all these festivities. I'm sounding like El Capone. And you guys have a great night. Thank you.
Thank
you, guys.
That's all, folks.